Constantly, I keep seeing people make the same exact mistake. They're getting one of these TVs over a TV that really, this is the one that they should be buying. What do I mean? Well, I'm talking about the thing that people don't like to talk about, and that is the LCD versus OLED debate. And yes, it's not fair. And there's a reason why most people don't bring it up. And really, nobody should be recommending LCD TVs over OLED TVs. But constantly it keeps happening. When do we stop this? And I'm not calling out any specific person. This is mostly from publications like review websites. Review websites are constantly doing it. 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 on some of the local dimming TVs. But man, there are so many examples of OLED TVs and LCD TVs being around the same price or the same price, and they have no business being that. The S90F and the QN90F, that is such a huge difference that nobody should be buying a QN90F if they are the same price. And even if it's just a $200 difference and the S90F is $200 more, nobody should be buying the QN90F. Size? Yes, I understand that part, and that's where you will make the exception if you need the size. But if we're talking about 65-inch, 55-inch, those are like the most commonly bought sizes still. Let me give you one example here with the Sony A95L 65-inch and the Sony Bravia 9 mini LED TV 65-inch. The Bravia 9 is $800 more. It is not $800 better. It is not even better than the A95L. Just like the QN90F shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath as the S90F. It's just not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. It is not worth your effort. Don't even look up reviews for it. That's how I feel about LCD TVs right now. RGB LED TVs, I'll certainly give a fair look, and we'll look at that and see how close it can get to an OLED TV. But I'm very skeptical, and I don't think it's going to get very close because we're still looking at LCD TVs at the end of the day and local dimming. But is that extra boost that you're going to get from the RGB LEDs enough to sacrifice some contrast? That's what I'll mainly be looking at. And if the answer is no, I'm going to let you know straight up, don't waste your time. And if it is, then I can tell you, hey, there's going to be a sacrifice to be made. With the Bravia 9, I never found that sacrifice. It was vivid mode was the only time it was brighter than the G4. And when I compared it to the G4, that's one that kind of caused some controversy. People were like, wow, the Bravia 9 is still better than the G4. I promise you, if you've seen this in person, you would think otherwise. You would think otherwise because the contrast difference is massive when you're talking about an LCD TV and an OLED TV. We do have this issue that is going to always be there. You're either going to get blooming or you're going to reduce the blooming and have crushing. Because of the local dimming algorithm, it's going to be suppressing a lot of the brightness that you're supposed to be getting in that scene, and you're not even going to get the brightness where it needs to be because of local dimming. Or a fast moving object, not going to be able to keep up with that with local dimming because it's not going to be instantaneous pixel response time like an OLED TV. Which is why I don't recommend LCD TVs for gaming. No, I just don't. And I get it. I started the channel with an LCD TV. But at that time, all we had was regular WOLEDs. And there was a significant difference in brightness and HDR impact with the LCD TVs. In fact, that same LCD TV, I still have it. And I've compared it to some of the premium LCD TVs that I've gotten in the house. And guess what? That difference isn't huge, which just tells you all you need to know about LCD TVs in general. And so, brightness, and you need something for a bright room, that could be understandable, especially if you were in a very, very bright room. But most of these premium OLED TVs can really get the job done in a bright room. They really can. Even the C5 in a bright room will be just fine for most people. And I think, there's definitely going to be exceptions where you're going to be in a room that might just need something ridiculously bright. Or heck, maybe even you need a terrace TV because you're going to be in such a sunlit environment. Maybe your TV's outside. Then you do need the terrace. But brightness measurements and EOTF tracking, all that stuff does not matter when we talk about local dimming being a factor. You're just not able to get real readings from an LCD TV. Most of the time, you're having poor results once the local dimming is kicked in. In any TV shootout, which is why at the Value Electronics TV shootout, there is no LCD TVs, and when there was in the past, people were like, why are these even here? Because it is such a one-sided affair. It is such a one-sided battle. LCD TVs should be cheap. They should be cheap, but they're not cheap. The way I look at OLED TVs and LCD TVs is like buying Taco Bell over Chipotle. If you buy Chipotle, it's just a little bit more expensive, and you're getting such a bigger burrito, bigger portions, just overall better quality, and you're just paying just a little bit more. With Taco Bell, you're spending almost as much as Chipotle, and you're getting lesser quality, and most likely you're not going to have as good of an experience with that food. Chipotle is a higher quality product than Taco Bell, and it is a newer product than Taco Bell. The food industry has evolved just like the TV industry. So why do people keep buying Taco Bell over Chipotle? That's why I keep asking the question, why are people buying LCD TVs over OLED TVs? And maybe, one of those things hits you harder than the other. I've personally paid for Taco Bell recently, and I asked myself, why? Why did I just do that? I know for a fact I could have got Chipotle, I could have got myself a bigger burrito, I could have had food for the next day pretty much, instead of Taco Bell, smaller portions, and overall just weaker food altogether. So why did I do it? It's because I wanted to try the new chicken nuggets. But don't fall for the new chicken nuggets from LCD TVs. Because that's all it is. The QM8K is almost the same as last year's QM8. The QM7K is almost the same as last year's QM7. The QN90F is almost the same as the QN90D. And it might even have more problems than the QN90D had. And that's the thing. There's more problems that could arise with local dimming as well. And when I reviewed LCD TVs in the past, this was something that was a bug constantly. Local dimming was always either is it going to get fixed in firmware or is this just a permanent problem? Not to mention the uniformity. LCD TVs are going to have more uniformity issues than OLED TVs as a whole. Let's say you can actually get to an OLED TV. Let's say you've made enough where you can afford that OLED TV and you are in that price bracket. Buying an OLED TV over an LCD TV is the smart decision if it is around the same price range. If you can say spend $200 more over an LCD TV, if that's where you gotta go, you should do it. Because you're getting a massive upgrade from spending that $200 difference. That is where I see a lot of the QM8, the QM9K. I can't really recommend that. I can't ever say that word to you guys that you should buy those TVs. Unless you need a TV in a larger size and if it's a really good deal. There's never been a case where an LCD TV was better than an OLED TV this year, or the last year, or the year before that. Really, ever since QD-OLED has shown its face, TVs have been getting brighter despite being just OLED technology. Man, look at the C5. It's bright enough and it's going to give you better picture quality than an LCD TV on average. And that's why I personally struggle with putting reviews out on LCD TVs. Past a certain price point, it just doesn't make sense to do. The cheaper TVs, the more niche TVs, the kind of Frame Pros, I'm going to have a review on the Frame Pro, and that TV was a huge letdown. And you'll see that when I review it. If you guys want to check that out, it will be on the channel soon. But ultimately, man, LCD TVs, if you're not buying a larger one, they're not worth your time. They're really not. And that's all I gotta say. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to have debates. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.